The average money that we need at the moment to be greater than the average is more than that $137,000 a year in income and more than $663,000 in assets. So basically, if did I get those data right?
Done, but what you got wrong was I'm Gen Y, Chris. All right, don't go put me in that Gen X category, buddy. All right.
Oh my goodness, whoops. My data's off. My data's off.
But it's true though. Like, who cares? Even if you are a millionaire, who cares? Because the average house price is over $1 million, and if you've got $1 million in your investment account, that's going to give you $50,000 a year for the rest of your life. And people that I know that a lot of, and I might have a slightly biased subset, but the people that I talk to, they don't want to live on the $50,000 a year lifestyle. They all want to, like we were talking just before we fired up the camera, which was they all want to be kicking it in Europe every year. Once obviously on the other side of COVID, and that all of that stuff costs money. So I think, people don't realize, and it's funny that it's like for us, I can go, okay, rough rule of thumb, you can draw 5% from a portfolio of assets without eating into capital. So if you got $1 million, you could draw about $50,000 a year. If you got $2 million, that gives you $100,000 a year. And when people will go, how much you want to spend in the future? They go, a couple of $100,000. It's like, well, you need $4 million plus your home in order to do that. And that's like, $6 or $7 million. And they've got, like you say, average wealth levels are, in the lowish six figures. That there's a ton of work to do. But that's I love that term, the pretender spenders. And it's this lifestyle creep factor that comes in. And it's funny that we work with a whole range of different people, but we've got some clients that will have, younger. We got couples that one comes to mind that their household income's about $250K and they save $50,000 a year. Whereas we're working with these other couple and they're on $750,000 and they're saving less than that because it's all of these things. And it's like, oh, I need this. And, got to spend money on all of these things that once you start bringing them into your lifestyle, it's hard to say no to, but there's all this psychology that sits around it. I feel like I need to go do a psychology degree just to unpack it sometimes, but people get so caught up and don't want to say no or change things, or there's like a status element, even if it's only in their own head. So I think we're not really set up for success when it comes to that stuff. And it's so easy that we all looking for that pleasure hit. So it's easy we come up with any excuse that we can go, okay, oh yes, I'll do that. Even though it's sabotaging, like we were saying, those habits and the things that we can say no to today, but it impacts us in the future. It's like, why, if you're making $500,000 a year, you're working pretty hard for that. Is that something that you really want to be doing forever? And if not, then why aren't you taking the opportunity to actually get ahead and create that freedom for yourself as well? So maybe that could be my next podcast when I do actually crack the code.
And if you get the financial advice, exactly what you said, you've got options, right? You know what the end game is. You know what amount of money you need for your financial freedom point, and you've got levels. Exactly what you said. If you want to take out $50,000 a year, $10,000 a year, at least it's not do or die, or it just is stuck in the dark. You've actually got options to, well, if I invest more in X, Y, and Z, I'll be in a bit better position here. So at least you can consciously make the decision not to save, not to invest, not to add to your super, without just leaving it to what you think or what you think someone else has done. So the benefit of going to a financial planner or being a financial planner in our cases is we know what those numbers are. We know what the metrics are. We know what the asset bases are that we require to get that financial freedom. When you've got that certainty off your back, so to speak, then you can focus on being with your family and not worrying about money all the time.
And I think it's so common though that people prioritize in the moment, and in the moment you want that shiny new toy or that, the epic trip or the lavish dinner out or whatever. And all of those things are great and they all have their place, but you want to be making your decisions up here instead of making your decisions down here, because then you're making decisions where you are, like you say, you're prioritizing with open eyes, and you may choose to allocate funds to some of these things some of the time, but you want to do that in a way where you're still able to find some level of balance with being happy with the outcomes of how much you're saving and investing or paying down debt or whatever those things are. But it's hard to do, and it's so easy that we just get so caught up in the day to day. It's like you say that you need to have that structure and dedicated time, whether it's like you were talking about it with sales, but to actually make sure that you've got that overarching, this is what I'm doing, this is why, because I'm trying to work towards this goal that I've got. So not easy, but it is important.